Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's guest is an entrepreneur, a tech guy turned coffee CEO, and someone building, real change between Kenya and the United States. Do you have any idea what vertically integrated farmer-owned coffee company does? Well, I've got a feeling that we're going to brew up that answer. So you know what? Let me just, introduce our next guest. The one, the only, the amazing Peter Kuria.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So you are listed as the founder and CEO of Solai Coffee. So for my listeners that might not know, what exactly does that mean?
I started a company and I am the Chief Empowerment Officer. That's what I like calling myself instead of just the acronym CEO. And we run a business where we connect people with an experience like no other. So we are doing good for the community and doing good for the people.
Okay, so how did you get started with working with coffee? Was it something that you always wanted to do growing up?
No. I was signed up for this. I tell people that I am in coffee by fate, because I was born into it. So my parents started farming coffee in the early 80s, and I was born in the late 80s. So when I came to my senses, I was surrounded by coffee bushes. So I didn't have any other choice other than to be part of it. And very soon I came to realize that that was going to be our way of life. And my involvement in running the business meant that I was going to get food, clothes, school, basic needs. Yes.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the business by choice. I decided to go back, a lot of passion for it, and a lot of other things that we will get into as the show goes by.
Okay, so you are a second generation coffee farmer. What was it like growing up around coffee plants?
It was fun. In the beginning, oh my God, it wasn't fun. In the beginning, it was a chore, You have this big field of coffee, and coffee takes a lot. To get it to the cup, it takes a lot. But just at the farm level, there's so many things, from planting a seed, waiting for 3 years for it to get to a point where it can give you a fruit. Listen to those words. It's a seed, and then it gives you a fruit. And you have to wait for 3 years.
That's
and you
crazy.
only harvest it once or twice a year, depending on where you are, on the equator, in which continent. So it is a game that requires a lot of perseverance. So when I was a kid and my friends back in their houses playing video games, and for me, as much as I wasn't able to work as much, I'm in the field, and my parents are telling me, hey, you gotta come with us because you have to fetch the water, you have to do this and that. I felt like it was a chore. But after I came to realize that the food that we were eating once in a while, my parents taking us out, was because of the coffee. And since I was like the fourth born in our family, my big brothers had really poured into it, and they knew that they needed to work so that they can go to school. So, and, they always called me and my younger brother the slackers. So we kind of tuned up, when we were young. So it became fun. That's what I can say, yeah.
So you studied computer science and worked in tech.
Yes.
How does tech mix with coffee?
That's a good question. So when my parents started farming coffee, it was a very lucrative business in the 80s. And then all of a sudden in the 90s, just when they had started, it takes around 7 years for a coffee tree now to start bearing, to give you the full potential.
Yeah.
And when it was getting to full potential, the market started tanking. So it was no longer a lucrative business. So they decided that we were going to do everything we can, my dad and my mom, to get the most they can from the coffee, to take the kids to the best schools and encourage them to study so that they don't come back to the farm and struggle. So I grew up being threatened by my parents: study hard, go to school, get good grades, or come back to the farm and struggle with us. So whenever they said that, I put my mind into books. And that is an example that was set up by my older brothers. We all graduated college. Some have 2 degrees, some have master's degrees. So I knew that the only escape from this struggle at the farm, the sun, the rain, and long nights, and sometimes, not borrowing from my parents, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, because, they are getting money from the coffee, paying for a tuition, and then they don't have anything to put back to the farm. So nicer things started shrinking when the market tanked. So I had, I don't know why, but I had so much passion about computers, because I remember when I was so young saying that I want to be a computer scientist. I didn't know what it meant, but I lived up to it. So I ended up not going into computer science, not doing computer engineering, which I wanted. I wanted actually to be in the theater, producing movies and video games and that stuff. I was aiming that for the stars, but I landed on the moon. So that was computer science. I don't know how they mixed, but I ended up there.
I mean, one way that I mixed 2 and 2 together was I drank a lot of coffee when I was doing some coding for computer science.
Yeah, you need it.
So your parents basically robbed Peter to pay Paul. Is that why they named you Peter?
That's a funny one. No, my brothers have different names, but realistically, I guess that's what it was, I'm the 4th one, right? Yeah.
So what does ethical, sustainable, and traceable trade mean in real kid-friendly words?
Sustainable, let's start with that. It's a word that is actually very much misused by entrepreneurs, right? Sustainable means that you create channels that are create long-term benefits. So you don't do good just for today. I'm part of the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Club has existed since 1905.
Yeah.
That means they are not doing good for a day. They are continuously pouring in a sustainable way, in a scalable way. Ethical means that you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sometimes, what you're doing is you're doing business in the right way, making sure that it's a fair deal. Nobody leaves the table sad because they feel that you took so much. I'm not talking about middlemen here, but you can tell that that's where I'm going. And the third one was ethical, sustainable, and
I believe it was. Wait a second, I'm thinking about it. Traceable trade.
Traceable. Traceability means that you can walk back and know the origin, right? So let's say, for example, when you're recycling, you can walk back to which you collected water bottles and you created a table from it. So you have traced the material back to the source. When it comes to coffee, it's knowing exactly the people who are farming that coffee, how they are farming that coffee, and what the coffee is doing for them. So in this case, I tell people every time I pour a cup of coffee or I give you a pack of coffee, a cup or a pack of coffee, I tell you that may it connect you to the people and the place it comes from. And that encompasses thinking about what's their livelihood. The $2, the $5, the $10 you gave me, how much is going back to the farmer? Can we trace it back? Can we see it at the farm level? Can we see it in the community? Can we see it in the schools? Because continuity means taking care of the second generation, the third generation. So you have to make sure that it is traceable.
Okay, so your coffee comes from the Lwani Coffee Estate in Kenya. So what makes coffee from that region special?
It's special because of the people, the perseverance, the the passion, the joy they pour into the coffee. I told you when my parents started farming, it was very lucrative, but it tanked. But until now, we are 42 years into farming. So they have been very perseverant. They struggle, but when you see them at the farm, they are always smiling. The other thing is the nature. We are by the mountain, good volcanic soil. Kenya is known for the best coffee in the world. I'm not kidding. Siri, Google can back me up on that because of the topography and the altitude. So, and we produce a lot of good coffee. I tell people, all countries produce good coffee, but who produces a lot of coffee that is good? It's Kenya. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's one part of coffee farming that most people have no idea about?
Wow, a lot of things. The first one I can say is they don't know that coffee is a fruit, and they are literally drinking smoothie. You're extracting the juice from the bean. That's why we say, it's bean juice. So coffee is a fruit. It's a cherry, just like the one they put on your, like the one
milkshakes.
They put on, yeah,
Chick-fil-A?
exactly. And we used to eat them when we were kids, and our parents would kick us because they have worms. Sometimes if they're infested by worms, but you are in the field, you're hungry, and you just start eating them. So coffee is a fruit, and it's a seed because you can plant it and it can grow back. Yeah.
So, what's one thing you think kids should know about doing the work that you do?
Sometimes hard things. You see, coffee, when it comes to farming coffee, it needs a community. So it helps a lot of people. And sometimes it's tough. But when you see the results of how many people are being impacted, at one time we have like 1,000 people at the farm. And it's not a big farm, when it's picking season. Knowing that you can start something that is going to benefit a lot of people, even if it's so hard to do. That is what actually gives us joy. Because before I started importing coffee to the US, we never knew who was drinking our coffee. We never knew whether they liked it or they did not like it. But now that I'm doing this, I am able to give my parents and my community that feedback, and they love it. So what I can tell kids is sometimes good things are hard to do, but when you see the results, they are very fulfilling. Yeah.
Now, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.